ಬಗೆ ಪಸತಪ್ಪುದಾಗಿ ಮೃದುಬಂಧದೊಳ್ ಒಂದುವುದು ಒಂದಿ ದೇಸಿಯೊಳ್ ಪುಗುವುದು ಪೊಕ್ಕು ಮಾರ್ಗದೊಳೆ ತಳ್ಳುವುದು ತಳ್ತೊಡೆ ಕಾವ್ಯಬಂಧಂ ಒಪ್ಪುಗುಂ ನೆಗಳ್ದಾದಿಪುರಾಣದೊಳ್ ಅರಿವುದು ಕಾವ್ಯಧರ್ಮಮಂ ಧರ್ಮಮುಮಂ ಕತೆ ಪಿರಿದಾದೊಡಂ ಕಥೆಯ ಮೇಗಡಲಿಯದೆ ಮುಂ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಭಾರತ ಮನ್ಸಲೆ ಪೇಳ್ದ ಕವೀಶ್ವರರಿಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಣಕಂ ಕಥೆಯೊಳ್ ಒಡಂಬಡಂ ಪಡೆಯೇ ಪೇಳ್ವಡೆ ಪಂಪನೆ ಪೇಳ್ಗುಂ ಇದು ನಿಚ್ಚಂ ಪೊಸತು ಅರ್ಣವೊಂಬಲ್ ಅತಿ ಗಂಭೀರಂ ಕವಿತ್ವಂ. ಕವಿತ್ವ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸದಾ ನಿತ್ಯ ನೂತನವಾದದ್ದು, ಗಂಭೀರವಾದದ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವನ ಕಾವ್ಯದ ನಿಲುವಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಕಾವ್ಯದ ಆಶಯವಾಗಿತ್ತು.
Pampa is a great poet who has brought distinction to Kannada language. Kaviraja Margakara in his work has stated that many poets had written in Kannada prior to Pampa. He has quoted poetic lines from Gunanandi, Asaga, Gunavarma and other famous poets in his Kaviraja Marga. From this, it could be concluded that great works in Kannada had already existed before Pampa's time. We get an indication through Pampa's poetry that Kannada literature had already flourished during his time. Vadda Radhane and Kaviraja Marga explain features of Kannada literature that existed before Pampa's time. There is documentary support to prove that Pampa had written his masterpiece before he was 40 years. Pampa has written epics in Champu form, which was quite rare in Sanskrit literature of that time. Champu is a literary form which is a blend of prose and poetry. It's a great challenge for a person with a poet's sensibility to list out the uniqueness and summarize Adi Purana and Vikramarjuna Vijaya. Adi Purana has the distinction of being not only Pampa's first piece of writing, but also his magnum opus. Many people have assumed it to be a sacred text on Jainism. Kuvempu himself has proved with documentary evidence that Adi Purana, spread over 16 chapters, is the best narrative in Kannada literature. After this revelation, Adi Purana has been taken on a serious note and studied just like Vikramarjuna Vijaya. According to Pampa, Dharma is a tool which refines our understanding of the world. Adharma prevents the refinement of thought. This concept of Dharma and Adharma has influenced the tradition of Kannada literature. Adi Purana has all the features of a myth or a legend. It is believed to be written in 941 AD. Pampa himself has said that he completed writing Adi Purana in just 3 months. Adi Purana is about Adi Tirthankara, the first among 63 Shalaka Purushas of Jaina Dharma, and his sons Bharata and Bahubali. Pampa has chosen an ancient story for narration in Adi Purana. The story does not restrict itself to the narration of story of the single person, Tirthankara. It is the story which grows through cycles of life and death. Adi Purana highlights oppositions or disagreement that existed between political and religious lifestyles of that time. This was written when Jaina Dharma was losing its prominence and was already on the path of descent. Adi Purana presents worldly affairs in 3 levels. This part presents Adi Deva's previous birth, his incarnation as Mahabala, Lalitangadeva, Vajrajanga, Suvidi. Nabiraja tells the story of indulgence or story of pleasures through levels or births. It becomes inevitable to work. The land of pleasure is transformed to the land of action. Till then, it was Bhoga Bhumi. Now, it becomes a Karma Bhumi. It becomes inevitable to work. Malus, the saints, teach different skill to people in different fields like agriculture, medicine, social systems, politics, etc. This throws light on different phases of evolution of human civilization. Professor Kiram Nagaraj, the great critic, explains that Adi Purana is also a story which swings between two cosmic dances.
ಪಂಪನ ಹಸ್ತಪ್ರತಿಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ದೊರೆತಿರೋದೇ 5 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ. ಪಂಪ ಭಾಷಣೆ ಒಂದು ಮಹತ್ವದ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಕಾವ್ಯ. ಕವಿತೆ ಬರೆಯುವರು ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ಕವಿತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ನವಪದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಕವಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 10ನೇ ಶತಮಾನ ಕವಿ ಆದರೂ 21ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದ ಕವಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಅವನ ಕಾವ್ಯ ತಿಳಿದವರು ಕವಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ಕನ್ನಡದ ಪರಂಪರೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪಲ್ಲಟಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಪಂಪ ಜೊತೆ ಅನುಸಂಧಾನ ಮಾಡಿಯೇ ಇದೆ. ಎರಡನೇನು ಆದಿಪುರಾಣ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಹತ್ವದ ಕೃತಿ? ಒಂದು ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಈ ಹೊತ್ತಿನ ಸಂದರ್ಭಕ್ಕೆ ಉಪಯುಕ್ತವಾದ ಹಡಗುಗಳು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಮೇರಿಕೀಕರಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆವರಣಗಳು ತನ್ನ ಹಿಡಿತಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಅದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಮನುಕುಲದ ಚರಿತ್ರೆ ವಿಕಾಸವೇ ಅದು ಪುರಾಣದ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದ ಆಶೆ. ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲೇ ಈ ರೂಪಕ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ, ಈ ಜೀವಂತಿಕೆ ಕಾವ್ಯ ಇದೆ.
Adi Purana is a narrative of conflicts, oppositions and unusual happenings. An element of crisis is interwoven with the narrative. This work, which was meant to advocate detachment, is woven with description of pleasures. Spring, greenery, fruit-laden trees, flowers, sweet fragrance and love are all associated with sensuality. Pampa, in a unique way, has described vividly how disinterestedness or detachment, hidden in sensual things, explodes from the very core of sensual pleasures. Adi Purana swings between two cosmic dances. Kuvempu is all praise for the part which describes Indra's dance, a dance of celebration, a cosmic dance. In honor of Adi Deva, who has been invited to Devasabha, a dance program has been organized. This part is a fine example of original creation in Kannada literature. At the peak of the dance, Nilanjane dies. Indra cleverly installs Benkara, the spirit in her body, and the dance continues without a break in aesthetic experience. The moment Adideva realizes the transience of life, he renounces power, his kingdom and his throne. He gives up worldly pleasures to become a Kevali, a Jain monk. Pampa probably is at his creative best when he captures the transformation that takes place in Adideva. Adideva's realization of impermanence of worldly things like kingdom, power, battle, and victory does not have any effect on his son Bharata. Bharata enthusiastically prepares himself to learn to use the sword, to wear the crown, and to enjoy power. Pampa has highlighted how each person has to find eternal truth by himself. Though Adideva is a yogi, he is still plagued by worldly identities. His inability to find spiritual help at this juncture is a wonderful piece of narration. The portrayal of a yogi who is being forced to accept material things has been wonderfully painted by Pampa. It's a unique creation in world literature. In Adi Purana, Pampa has written several powerful scenes. For example, Bharata's desire to conquer many kingdoms. Bharata, after conquering land on Vijayadri mountain, wants to immortalize his achievements through inscriptions. He could not find a single stone to inscribe his name. He is humiliated very much. Still, his ambition makes him to erase the writings and inscribe his name. This incident, instead of making him realize the meaning of life, makes him even more ambitious. The story of Adi Purana grows from incident to incident. Along with the story, Pampa also gives an elaborate account of the political conditions prevailing in undivided India. The last part of Adi Purana is about the arrogance of Bharata. Absolute power makes Bharata so arrogant that he forgets his relationship with his own brother. He does not hesitate to send words to his brother, asking him either to surrender himself or fight with him. This is the last part of Adi Purana. Disgusted with Bharata's behavior, his 100 brothers give up their kingdoms and join Adideva. But Bahubali questions his autocracy or authoritarianism. Then another dramatic event springs up in the narrative. Bahubali declares war against Bharata. Both of them are fully prepared to confront each other with their army. An accident, which has never occurred in the history of mankind, takes place. Soldiers on both the sides refuse to fight against each other. The ministers request the brothers to engage in a duel. Both the brothers agree to this. This happens to be the best part in Adi Purana. This throws light on the fact that Pampa the poet, in spite of being a valiant soldier, was against war. Bahubali notices fear of defeat and fear of death in Bharata's eyes when the battle reaches a decisive moment of victory. A sudden transformation takes place in Bahubali. In a fraction of a second, the hero, the victor, the valiant becomes an ascetic. Kirtinatha Kuttukoti, the famous critic, has said that the unification of the victor and the sage is the essence of Adi Purana. Adi Purana has been the greatest work in the history of Kannada literature because of its originality.
ಪಂಪ ಬರೆದ 2 ಮಹಾಕಾವ್ಯಗಳು ಆದಿಪುರಾಣ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಕ್ರಮಾರ್ಜುನ ವಿಜಯ. ವಿಕ್ರಮಾರ್ಜುನ ವಿಜಯ ಭಾರತದ ಭಾಷೆಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಮಹಾಭಾರತ ರಚನೆಯಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾವ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಅಂದಿನ ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಧರ್ಮ ಮತ್ತು ಜಾತಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ, ಕುಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಅನೇಕ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಕಟಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನ ಕಾವ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆತ ಮೂಲ ಮಹಾಭಾರತವನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿಕೃತಿಗೊಳಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಪ್ರತಿಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮಹಾಭಾರತದ ಅನೇಕ ಪ್ರಸಂಗಗಳನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ನಾಯಕರುಗಳನ್ನು ಪಲ್ಲಟಗೊಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಪಂಪನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ದುರ್ಯೋಧನ ಕೂಡ ಮೂಲ ಮಹಾಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಕೇವಲ ಜಿದ್ದಿನಿಂದ, ಛಲಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಆಸ್ತಿ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಒಡೆದಾಡು ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ರಾಜನಾಗಿ ಕಂಡುಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನೊಬ್ಬ ಉದಾತ್ತನಾದ, ಮಾನವ ಸ್ನೇಹಿಯಾದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಆದರ್ಶ ರಾಜನಾಗಿ ಈ ಕಾವ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿತ್ರಿತನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಪಂಪ ಕರ್ಣನನ್ನು ಕೇಂದ್ರಿತವನ್ನಾಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಮಹಾಕಾವ್ಯವನ್ನು ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿಂದ ನೆನೆವಡೆ ಕರ್ಣನಂ ನೆನೆಯೇ ಕರ್ಣ ರಸಾಯನಮಲ್ತೆ ಭಾರತಂ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ.
Vikramarjuna Vijaya is an epic based on Vyasa's story of Mahabharata. Pampa himself has said that it is a worldly narrative. This has been a new experiment to contemporize the history of Karnataka through the story of Mahabharata. Vikramarjuna Vijaya, written in Kannada, enjoys unique distinction among regional languages of India for being the first work to retell the story of Mahabharata in Kannada. Pampa himself has said that he agreed to write Vikramarjuna Vijaya in order to immortalize King Adikesari, who was also his close friend. The outstanding feature of Vikramarjuna Vijaya is that it is not only the story of Mahabharata, but also the story of Adikesari and the story of Karnataka. The victory of Vikramarjuna is synonymous with the victory of Adikesari. Arjuna's adventurous qualities as a warrior is blended with Adikesari's qualities. Likewise, Adikesari's titles are given to Arjuna. This is a unique process of harmonizing Arjuna with Adikesari. Pampa has ensured that when one person is spoken about, the memory of the other strikes. Adi Purana is a multi-layered narrative. Pampa has skillfully woven mythical, historical, and contemporary layers in such a way that the narrative provides a unique aesthetic experience. Vikramarjuna Vijaya, written in Champu form, is spread across 14 chapters. Pampa, after seeing the reflection of Vyasa's Mahabharata, has taken that golden image, further purified it, and has added Kannada a flavor. The end product is a beautiful golden statue which is one of its kind. Pampa has made many changes in Vikramarjuna Vijaya. Though on the surface level it looks like the story of the king, it is actually centered around Karna. Vikramarjuna Vijaya echoes all the changes that were taking place in the political field. Pampa has raised humanitarian questions in his work, and that gives a timeless quality to it. Questions on caste identity were raised 1,000 years ago, and that itself is unique in nature. This aspect has been praised by many Kannada scholars. Questions on caste have always plagued Indian society and Indian psyche. In Pampa Bharata, since Karna is the central figure, it has become a platform for the marginalized to voice their protest. Pampa, no wonder, has proclaimed oneness of humanity.
ಸಿಂಹದ ಮುಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಕಾಡಾನೆಗಳೆಂದೂ ಈಗಳೆಯಲಾಗದು. ವೀರನೆಂಬ ಸೊಕ್ಕು ನಿನ್ನನ್ನು ಅಹಂಕಾರಿಯನ್ನಾಗಿಸಿದೆ. ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಕುಲವನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಎಂಬಂತೆ ಮಿತಿ ಮೀರಿದ ಅಹಂಕಾರದಿಂದ ನೀನು ಕುಲಜರನ್ನು ಉದಾತ್ತರನ್ನು ದೂಷಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೀಯ.
ಆಚಾರ್ಯ, ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ನಿರ್ಣಯವನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿ. ಕುಲವೃದ್ಧರಾದ ಭೀಷ್ಮಾಚಾರ್ಯರನ್ನೇ ಸೇನಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಪಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಆರಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
ಸುಯೋಧನ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಂಜಾದ ಮುದುಗನಿಗೆ ಪಟ್ಟ ಕಟ್ಟಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಹಿಡಿದ ಬಿಲ್ಲು ದಂತಿಗೆ ಸಮ, ಅಂಬು ಹೊಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸಮ. ಮಿತ್ರ ಬಗೆವರ ನೆಟ್ಟಲ್ವನ್ನು ಮುರಿವಡೆ ಎನಗೆ ಪಟ್ಟಂಗಟ್ಟ.
ನೀ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಕುಲವಂ ತಪ್ಪುವವೋಳ್ ಉರಿದೆ ಕೆಳ ನುಡಿವೆ ಕರ್ಣ. ಸೂತ ಕುಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಉನ್ನತ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಗಳೆಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರಬೇಕು. ನಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ತಂದು ಸಿಂಹಾಸನದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಳ್ಳಿರಿಸಿದಂತಾಯ್ತು. ನಿನ್ನ ಅಹಂಕಾರವು ಮಿತಿ ಮೀರಿತು.
ಮಾತಿಗೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಕುಲವನ್ನು ಏಕೆ ಎತ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಡುತ್ತೀರಿ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಲಗಳು ಶತ್ರು ಸೈನ್ಯವನ್ನು ಅಟ್ಟಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತವೇನು? ಕುಲವಲ್ಲ, ಛಲವೆಂಬುದು ಕುಲ, ಶೌರ್ಯವೆಂಬುದು ಕುಲ, ಗುಣವೆಂಬುದು ಕುಲ, ಅಭಿಮಾನವೆಂಬುದೊಂದು ಕುಲ. ನೋಡುತ್ತೀರಿ, ಈ ಯುದ್ಧದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಲಗಳು ವ್ಯಾಕುಲವನ್ನು ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದೊಳೆ ಕೇಳಿ.
Vikramarjuna Vijaya begins with the birth of Pandavas and ends with the death of Duryodhana. Idealization of friendship between Duryodhana and Karna is another important aspect of Vikramarjuna Vijaya. This has been dealt in a very touching and sensitive manner. It's a rich and unique experience. Pampa has, through the story from Vyasa's Mahabharata, made many changes in his narrative.
ಓ, ಮಹಾರಥಿಗಳ ಆಗಮನವಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ.
ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಿ, ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭುಗಳಿರಬಹುದು ಎಂದು ಬಂದೆ. ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೇನೆ.
ನಿಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಟದ ರಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಬಂದ ಯಾವ ಕಾಯಿಗೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಹಿಂತಿರುಗುವ ಅವಕಾಶವಿಲ್ಲ. ಆರಂಭಿಸಿದ ಆಟವನ್ನು ಆಡಿಯೇ ತೀರಬೇಕು. ಬನ್ನಿ, ನನ್ನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ನಾನೇ ಆಡಿ ಬೇಸರಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
ನನಗೆ ಪಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಹ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮವಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಪ್ರಭುಗಳು ತಮಗೆ ಪೈಪೋಟಿ ನೀಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದರೋ ಏನೋ.
ಪ್ರಶಾಂತತೆಯ ದೂತರಂತೆ ತಾವು ಬಂದಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಬನ್ನಿ, ಅರೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಬನ್ನಿಯಪ್ಪ, ಕೂರಿ. ನನಗೂ ಅಚ್ಚರಿಯೇ. ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭುಗಳು ನನ್ನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಒಮ್ಮೆಯೂ ಗೆದ್ದಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವು ಒಡ್ಡಿದ ಪಣ ಕೊಡೋಣವಾಗಲಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಸೋಲಲಾರೆ ಎಂದು ಭಾವಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಈ ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಹಾರವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾರೆ.
ಇದು ಮೋಸ. ನೀವು ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಹಾರವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲೇಬೇಕು.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಕೊಡಿ ಕೊಡಿ.
ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೊಡಲಾರೆ.
ಕೊಡಲೇಬೇಕು.
ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ.
ದೇವಿ, ದೇವಿ, ಭಾನು, ಏಕೆ ಭಾನು ಬೊಂಬೆಯಾಗಿ ನಿಂತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲ? ಚದುರಿ ಹೋದ ಮುತ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಆಯ್ದುಕೊಡಲೇನು? ಇವಂ ಆಯ್ವದೋ ತಪ್ಪದೆ ಬೇಡಿ.
Pampa in the Vikramarjuna Vijaya has focused on the relationship between state, power, hierarchy, and human relationships. The interaction between the two brings about fundamental changes in the realm of human experiences. It is strange that 1,000 years ago, Pampa had spoken about ecological disaster, which is an offshoot of ever-expanding frontiers of human civilization. By citing example of Kandava Dahana and the incident where a hunter invites Krishna and Arjuna to a picnic in the forest, one stroke of the arrow resulted in vanishing act of animals in the forest. Pampa's narration stands the test of time. They provoke each generation to interact with the next, to find answers to cultural problems. Pampa is not only the greatest poet in Kannada literature, but also a visionary who foresees the future of human civilization.